Backstage of the Project A Knowledge Conference 2020. I'm your host for the next hour. My name is Hannah Schwer and I'm a reporter at Business Insider. And our next guest is a true unicorn founder, Tarek Müller, co-CEO of the online shop About You.
Hi.
Hi, Tarek. Great to see you.
Hello, great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Where are we reaching you? Can you tell us a bit about your background there?
Yeah, this is my apartment here. I'm at home.
Okay, so greetings to Hamburg, I guess.
Yes, exactly, in Hamburg. Thanks.
Tarek, how have the last months been for you personally, but also for your company About You, who is big in e-commerce?
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy ride during the last 9 months. I mean, beginning of COVID, the demand for fashion, even online, has massively decreased. So online fashion was definitely not a winner of the Corona crisis. Luckily, the demand has increased back to a level it was or would have been without Corona as well. That basically the total demand for online fashion. But what we have seen is that the categories have massively shifted. Obviously, nobody was buying evening dresses or bikinis, but people were buying kids, sports, and mainly leisure wear, homeware. So we had to shift basically the stock, and we had to shift marketing channels. Some marketing channels have massively increased in performance, others have decreased. So it was a crazy time, I guess, as in every company, and we had to be flexible and fast.
What are the marketing channels that you see booming?
I mean, for sure, social was booming even more than it was before. So we focused even more on social media. I mean, even before COVID, social media was by far our largest marketing channel, but it became even more important during COVID. Other channels like, outdoor advertisement, for example, was completely shut down, basically. It didn't make sense at all. I would say these are the two most extreme examples. Luckily, we came through this crisis quite well. So we gained massive market share. We grew by more than 80% during the last 9 months. We were cash flow positive in the last 9 months. So, for us, it was luckily it was commercially good. But this was also due to a lot of things we did. For example, we were one of the first onliners, even the first onliner at scale who sold community masks. And we have sold millions of community masks. We have sold them at self-cost, so we didn't do any margin with that. But we have gained millions of new customers by selling basically community masks at self-cost that obviously have converted to other categories as well. So this was just one thing out of like several initiatives we did basically in order to gain traction even during Corona.
Can you give us a scope of how big About You is today in terms of customers and revenues?
Yeah, happy to do that. We are active in 16 countries. In 10 out of the 16 countries, we are market leader. In the remaining 6 countries, Zalando is market leader. In continental Europe, we are the number 2 after Zalando when it comes to revenue, but Zalando is 8 years older than us. So we are doing 3.5 billion in gross merchandise volume this year and around 1.2 billion in net revenue. We are profitable in our core markets. We have a strong technology and enabling segment where we basically license out our software to other retailers as a SaaS model. We are sitting in Hamburg, 1,000 employees, still growing by this year, I said something around 70-80%.
Wow. For all of those who are watching us now, by the way, you're more than welcome to ask questions to Tarek in the comment section. We'll talk also a little bit more about social media marketing, what Tarek is especially known for. So just hit the keyboard if you want to know anything. Tarek, you mentioned social media has been big this year. And I know if you look at the download charts of any app store, you see that social media apps are really like on top of it, especially one that is TikTok. Has that been relevant for you? And are you personally also on TikTok?
So yes, I'm personally on TikTok, not as a content creator, but as a content consumer. I think I downloaded TikTok, I don't know, late 2019 or something. And we did a ski trip with our company, we rented a hotel. Okay, it was kind of a youth hotel. with 150 people. And that was the time where I really got into TikTok, because my colleagues basically explained this to me, and we were trying to create a TikTok viral, which, spoiler, didn't work. Yeah, we did so many crazy stuff, but nothing went viral. Just to try it out, it was quite funny. I consume content on TikTok. We as a company are active on TikTok as well. Not crazily active, but we play around a lot with TikTok and TikTok advertisement, TikTok corporations, and several other things. So it is important, and I think, but it's not important in the masses right now. It's a phenomenon of young people at the moment, very young people below age of 18, which are not commercially interesting now. But I think it's still very important to be focused on this platform, but because usually older people are adapting the behavior of younger people. So I think it's important to keep track of the platform, test around a lot, to be ready when this is really, really commercially relevant, because it goes in the masses. Yeah.
And do you have any tips who to follow there?
Oh, I mean, it depends on what kind of content you like. I mean, the reality is following on TikTok is not that important. That is one of the big changes of the logics, basically, of TikTok. So, the question on whom to follow is a question that is questioned out of the behavior of Facebook and Instagram, where you saw the content of those you are following. You can use TikTok without following anybody, and it's a great experience, because TikTok is really basically taking a look on the content and then presenting you content that might be relevant for you, no matter whether you're following this person or not. And that is very interesting, because that means basically the value of having followers is decreasing in comparison to, for example, Instagram or Facebook, where this was the main metric, was how many followers you have, because this determines on how much reach your postings get. On TikTok, you can have millions of followers, but your posting is still just reaching 10,000, and you can have 3 followers and can create a viral that is seen by millions. Yeah. So followers are not that important as they were on other platforms, both as a creator, but also as a user. Yeah.
And you said you haven't had the viral hit yet, but I'm sure you've been doing some research on the secret recipe. Can you share that with us? Like, what's important
for viral on TikTok?
Yeah.
I mean, it must be relevant to the audience, yeah. And the question is, how is TikTok? It must be, in the eyes of TikTok algorithm, it must be relevant. So the question is, what is the relevance criteria of the algorithm of TikTok? And as far as I can see it is like rate, comment rate, and view through rate, and also repeatedly view through rate. So if you have a video that is repeatedly viewed by a person, always to the end, and then again and again and again, and then liked, and ideally also commented, then this is seen as a great piece of content. Yeah. So this is why a lot of TikTok videos are basically produced in a way that they spoil something they catch your attention in the first second, and then they leave something very interesting open to the end, because they want to catch your attention and keep your attention by doing something crazy in the first second, but then they want to make sure that you're watching until the end, and ideally watch it again, because you watch it until the end and then you realize, maybe I missed something in the beginning, and that's why you watch it again in the beginning. So this is the way how TikTok virals often work, is this method. It was my personal opinion. Yeah, it was my personal basically impression.
We have some more questions coming in about your broader social strategy. Somebody wants to know, what are the experiences you can share to become such a known consumer brand, which in such a short time?
Yeah, actually, I just did a speech from 11 to 11:40 about exactly this. This was the topic of my speech. Yeah, I guess to sum it up, it's, we are heavily focused on telling great stories and creating meaningful experiences and stories. And I think brands should see themselves more and more as media companies and entertainment companies that make sure that they are producing relevant and great content that is then being aired on, whatever is relevant. Now it would be, Netflix, it could be linear TV as well, social media, etc., and multiplied through the lens of influencers. I mean, that at least I think is the secret source if you're serving a young audience, I believe. Yeah.
The next question is, do you think that performance marketing itself will lose power or relevance in the future due to stronger restrictions regarding data security?
No, I don't think it will lose power or relevance, but I think it will be, as always, it will change. So the way you do performance marketing, what is important, what you can measure, etc., becomes even more complex, I would say, with restrictions in what data you can gather. And here, the truth, I think the set truth about all this GDPR thing is it was made by politicians to secure the rights of end consumers and to basically break the power of the large platforms. And exactly the opposite has happened. The large platforms are massively profiting from this because users give them users want to use Facebook, so they will click on every accept button that, Facebook throws on their screen. Yeah. So they don't have a problem of not tracking what the user is doing because they have the acceptance. Small platforms, small shops, again, etc., are not having such a high login rate. About You, for example, is a platform with a very high login rate. Yeah. So we don't have a huge problem through GDPR because most of the users on About You are surfing locked in and giving us the acceptance or the consent. Yeah. So we are not that affected. And on the other hand, people by clicking on the accept button, they often accept more data than you as a platform would have been allowed to use without GDPR. So now you can track even more after they gave you an acceptance, and they always give you an acceptance if you're a relevant platform. Yeah. So I think, it is a very stupid thing, GDPR, because it does exactly the opposite of what it should do. Yeah.
I know those accept buttons are popping up everywhere in the internet, and a lot of people are annoyed about it. How has it affected your business?
I mean, as said, not that many, yeah, because our users are clicking on accept because they really want to use About You. Yeah? So, I mean, now we are allowed to do more than we were, before GDPR. It's a very unfair thing because, the unfairness is for the small players, yeah, that are not having that loyal customer base that is clicking on acceptance basically blind, yeah, or surfing on a locked-in state. So it has not affected our business so far. I would even say in the opposite is the case, that it gave us a better market position than before, because you always need to see this on relative numbers. I mean, how is your marketing? Is through something happening like GDPR, is your market position improving or decreasing against your competitors? I think that is the relevant question, yeah, and the only relevant question. And we saw that through GDPR, our market position has improved because our users are giving us the consent. Yeah.
So you've essentially said that in times where data privacy is getting more and more serious, customer loyalty is even more important. Can you give us an outlook on how that also impacts your social media strategy? I know you come from influencer marketing. Now you're doing also a lot of festivals and own events. What does the future look like there for you?
I mean, for us, the strategy is pretty clear to basically get less dependent from classical advertisement by incubating formats that sustain by themselves and finance themselves. For example, our festival you were referring to, the About You Pangea Festival, music and fashion festival, has ticketing revenues, is a great marketing measure for About You, but it's financing itself in latest 1 or 2 years after Corona. Yeah. And we are doing this already since last year. And we will push forward in becoming the number one entertainment and content media powerhouse, basically, when it comes to fashion content. Yeah.
And what's next there? What's next after influencer marketing and festivals?
I mean, we are doing a lot. I mean, we are producing products, for example, products that help, improve your daily routine with textile. That can be, stuff that is helping you in your wardrobe. That can be an Wäschekorb, where you put your laundry in your laundry box, basically an About You laundry box. Yeah, that I mean, that sounds silly, but at the end of the day, if we make sure we are producing a laundry box and it says about you on your laundry box and it has a nice call to action, which it has, we're already doing this, you will be reminded of about you every day when you put stuff in your laundry box. It's a great touch point with our customers. And these are the things we are doing. We produce the number one top selling laundry box on Amazon. And it's reminding the consumer every day on about you. We are we have produced a lot of documentaries within Corona because events were not happening, and doing a lot of shows, etc. that are being streamed, for example, on Join. Join gave us money to stream our About You documentary about Bill Kaulitz, whom we have done a fashion cooperation with. And, next step, hopefully, is Netflix. We want to produce a documentary, which is called, About You, documentary about fashion designers, for example, like Chef's Table, branded from About You and streamed on Netflix. I mean, this is great marketing, I believe. And we get money from Netflix.
How serious are you on that? Like, is that an idea, or are you actually moving forward on this already, About You on Netflix?
I mean, we are moving forward on this because we are already producing documentaries. So far, Netflix was hesitant of acknowledging that our content is so great that it's worth paying us for it. But it's just a matter of time. We are getting better and better in producing great content. And I think there will be a time where Netflix has no other option of paying us to get our content. And for us, this is then free marketing at the end of the day.
There are some more questions coming in. One person wants to know, how do you inform yourself about the algorithms of TikTok or Instagram? Only through testing?
Yeah, it's a combination of what my colleagues observe, what we see in data, and that's the most important part, the data, and my personal impression of by using the platforms. But data is the most important thing I rely on when it comes to information, and not so much my personal behavior, because it's not significant, or it's not it's a bubble behavior, I would say.
I've been wondering that as well. I mean, like, you're this senior entrepreneur. You've had a long career and founding your own companies, and now you're kind of like putting yourselves in the shoes of 12 to 13 to 16-year-olds. How do you put yourself in their position when you do strategy for your company?
Our target group is not the 12 to 16-year-olds. Our target group is 18 to 49, and the average customer age of About You is 30.
Okay.
We're really serving everybody. Between 18 and 49. I try to follow the behavior of 12 to 18-year-olds, because often this is kind of an outlook of future behavior of 18 to 49-year-olds. So I think it makes sense, even though 12 to 18-year-olds are for an online shop not commercially relevant at all. They don't have money. They, due to the being underage, they can't even order in a lot of things. So this is not a commercially interesting target group, but it's a marketing-wise, it's an interesting target group because they heavily influence the behavior of older people. So I think both is relevant, but at the end of the day, our target group is 18 to 49.
But how do you get into like this teenage scene? I mean, I ask, I don't know, my niece or somebody, but how do you do market research there?
I mean, first of all, we do market research, but we always try to, ask a significant mass of people in order to not get subjective, bubble opinions, but get a significant data. And at the end of the day, it's just, trying out a lot and then measuring the impact. I think that is the number 1 to number 10 thing you should do, is try it out, optimize, get it measured, and then learn from the learn from the data you get, and then improve.
Okay. Another question from the stream: how do you ensure sustainability of About You's business?
Yeah, we have a threefold strategy there: reducing eco footprint and compensating whatever's left, and by this getting carbon neutral. And also reducing waste and other things. Secondly, increasing the number of products that were sustainably produced on our platform. At the moment, we have around 12% of the offering is sustainably produced, and our goal is to get to 25% of all items being sustainably produced. And thirdly, introducing circularity. And there, for example, you can buy secondhand products on About You. And in a year or so, you can also, with your return parcel, you can also throw on your old clothes. We will quality proof that, we will wash it, etc., and then sell it. and you will get 60% of the selling price as an end consumer. So we make sure that you get money for your old clothes, and by this improve the eco footprint of fashion, because you basically extend the lives of fashion, and you make sure that less fashion is getting produced, because this is the ultimate goal. We need to produce less fashion, and if we produce fashion, it needs to be sustainable. Basically, that is the goal we want to provide, or we want to play a role in.
So there's another question, because I see we are getting a lot of questions from the audience in right now. Probably won't have time for all of them. Are you going to hang out on Wonder later on? Can people catch you there?
Yeah, till 12:30.
Okay, great. And one more question about your business. We've been seeing about you rising from a small shop to like this unicorn. A lot of people are wondering what's the next step. Are we going to see about you doing an IPO next year?
So there were a lot of rumors in the press lately on us doing an IPO. Obviously, we don't comment those rumors.
Okay. Best of luck to you for next year, and to everybody who wants to catch up with Tarek. He'll be on Wonder. Thanks so much for being here and joining us.
Thanks for having me.